Have you ever looked at your hardest moments and thought, why is this happening to me? Have you ever felt like there's challenges and they're just obstacles in your way? Like every time you get momentum, every time you get moving, something knocks you down. Maybe you faced rejection, self-doubt, or felt like your dreams were just out of reach. And we keep leaning into the question, why? Why me? Why is this happening? What if we flip the question to, how is this happening for me? Because that's exactly where transformation begins. Hi, my name is Tami, and welcome to the Full Weight of Joy podcast. I'm a clarity and purpose executive coach. I help high achievers and leaders just like you conquer imposter syndrome, discover the more that we're craving, and understand how you're wired so that you can step into your purpose, lead a life of impact, and live the life that you know you were made for, without starting over, without losing your identity, and without making big changes in your life. Friend, we all have struggles. If you've made it this far, if you're, mid-30s, mid-40s, you've made it this far without a struggle, please message me. I would love to chat and learn from you. Or would I? Think about it. If I really thought about the things that define me, if I thought about the things that made me who I am, the struggles are a big part of that. So if I thought about it, if I'm thinking about it, I've gone through some really hard things in my life, and as hard as it is for me to say, I wouldn't trade them. If I had to do it over, I would have walked through the same struggles because it made me who I am today. Do you find the same thing? Have you looked at your struggles and thought, how has this worked in my favor? How is this struggle a gift? Or how is it shifting and shaping my strength? Billy Graham once said, mountaintops are for views and inspiration, but fruit is grown in the valleys. Friend, just like coal that becomes a diamond under pressure, so are you. So you may feel stuck. You may feel like you're in the dark. You may feel like you are alone, but with the right process in those hard moments, they will refine you into that amazing woman of God that He created you to be, and it will not break you. I was recently asked, what was the difference about me? Why did I make the choices I did? And in the context, to give you a little context for this, is I was sharing my story, and they wanted to know how I was different. And honestly, I had to think about it because I don't believe I really am that different. I don't think that I made choices, radical choices that others couldn't have made. And then she said, Tami, think about it. Those moments are defining. And it's important to know why you are different, because without those struggles and without those moments of decision, you wouldn't be who you are today. You would not be able to describe yourself as an overcomer. You would not have been able to push yourself deeply to get where you are. And she was right. She was right. These moments should not go undefined. And so I wanted to talk to you today about defining these moments and to understanding, because I believe that our struggles truly are a gift. It may take a moment or two, or maybe a year or so for us to really lean into that. But if you choose to see it as something that's done for you instead of against you, or done for you instead of something that's holding you back, that is where the gold is. Our challenges don't define us, they refine us. And I want to help you develop that resilience, that wisdom, the empathy, the courageousness that are crucial for leadership and impact. And so I wanted to talk about today 5 ways that our struggles are our gifts, and why we should be leaning into them instead of leaning away from them. We should be embracing them and doing the work to understand them versus tucking them in and not talking about it, versus thinking that we should be ashamed of them, even if it's based on a decision we made, even if it's there's so many, it doesn't matter. You went through this, so let's use it, because I believe that everything can be used for good. So what is this first way that our struggles are a gift? And the first way is self-awareness. understanding the lesson in your struggle. And I'm going to tie this into the SHINE framework, which this is the framework that I use with my clients, and just to walk through, so that way we go through and we clarify our purpose. We look at our gifts and our strengths, and really look at who God's created us to be, so we can embody and we can step into into our purpose, into our calling, into the impact that we know that we were called to make. And so this first is self-awareness. It ties into this, the first step of seeing yourself clearly. Every challenge forces you to look deeper into who you are. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? We can shift to, what is this teaching me? And the difference between this is there's power in, what is this teaching me? There is, all of us who like the illusion of control, all of us who like to, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. But when we allow when things happen to us, then we're powerless. But when we shift it to, what is this teaching me? What is the lesson in the struggle? Why did I make the decision that I am? That helps us to craft a different narrative. It helps us to see what we can learn through it, and how our innate responses prepared us for it, how we are naturally lend ourselves to one direction over another. But when we see ourselves clearly, and we see ourselves as we are in the moment, it gives us that vision of what now. And it shifts the perspective so we can actually grow through it, instead of being handicapped by it. And so self-awareness is such a huge thing, because really, how many times have you gone through something really amazing and been able to, we learned things from every situation, but let's face it, how many amazing wins have we really been able to go deeper and understand ourselves better? It's those moments of what if, it's the moments of what now that really help us to define and refine who we are. And so the next one is harnessing your struggles to create purpose. So part of, again, the SHINE framework is hear your calling. The very thing that caused you pain might be the one thing that fuels your mission. Grief has been it's been a thread throughout my life. I lost my grandfather early on. A defining moment was when I lost my babysitter. I was in, I believe, 5th grade. And one moment she was there, and then she had anaphylactic shock. And the next day she wasn't. And it was really that first time that I lost somebody who I couldn't talk to again, that really affected me. And the next is, losing my mom and losing my husband. And granted, this was over, 32 years. But it's one of those themes, that understanding that that pain that I had, it's actually been one of the things that has fueled my mission. It's fueled my reason of, we need to find our purpose, that our struggles, whatever it may be, it may not be grief of a person, it might be grief of a dream or a child, or which a child is a person, but different, you know what I mean. It may be a grief of a vision, a job, a house, it may be a limb, it may, whatever your grief is. Grief looks like so many different things, but looking at that thread, looking at how the very thing that caused me pain is the thing that gets me up in the morning, because I know when you step into your purpose, when you see yourself clearly and you're able to know how God wired you, then you can be more confident. You can overcome imposter syndrome. You can do the things that God's called you to do, and you can shine and make the world shine brighter. And so the harnessing your struggles to create purpose, it may be what propels you to move forward with that. And so I want to encourage you to write down some of the biggest struggles that you've had. And I want you to look and see, okay, what is the self-awareness in it? What did you learn in it? And then also, how have you gained wisdom, strength? What insight did you gain from them? Because when we start to capture that, that's when all of a sudden it goes from happening to us to happening for us. And so the next one is integrating our strengths into our leadership, into our business, into our parenting, into our relationships. It's when we start integrating it into our whole self. Once you recognize your strengths and you can use them to build your career, your business, your life, your mission, your ministry, your parenting, the world needs you, not just the parts of them that you want to see. It's so crazy. One of the things that I am doing is I am learning how to tell stories better. I'm learning how to infuse stories because I'm typically, and you probably know this from listening to the podcast, that I'm typically more of a teacher style. I like to get right down into it. But that's one of the things that I want to do is I want to learn how to connect through story more. And so part of that is sharing the parts of me that are not polished or that I'm still working on, or sharing those moments that are more raw and vulnerable. And really, because I'm doing this because I know that when people are vulnerable around me, I connect with them more. And so when we, take our strengths, when we integrate our strengths into our leadership, into our business, into our life, then we can see how the strengths that are already within us, we can use them to propel the mission, to propel our business and it's not hard. That's the crazy part, is when we lean into our strengths, life gets easier. We feel more aligned because it's what naturally we were called to do. It's what we were wired to do. And so it's already within us. We just have to own it, and we have to choose to lean into it. And so I want to encourage you to look at some of the past struggles as credentials. Those past struggles give you street cred for the things that this mission, this business, this becoming an entrepreneur, becoming a leader in your industry. They're the proof of resilience, not the things that are going to disqualify you. If you've been through it, it actually qualifies you more. Because remember, God equips us as we are called, as we are becoming qualified. He doesn't qualify us first. We have to go through the fire. We have to go through these struggles, and then we get to lean in and use it. And so the next part, so we've had self-awareness, understanding the lessons in the struggle, harnessing our strengths to create purpose, integrating your strengths into your leadership, business, your life. Then the next is navigating next steps, turning setbacks into set-ups. I heard someone else say that, and I was like, I like that, because initially some of the things that we feel are done to us, we feel like they push us back. And really, there's times that step back actually gives us a bigger perspective, a bigger view of where we're going. And so when we step back, which is part of the SHINE framework of navigating your path, no experience is wasted. Everything can be used for good. And I want you to think about, in this past year, think of one hard thing that you have been through in this past year. And it doesn't have to be the hardest. I mean, honestly, I was thinking of a parenting. I have 2 teenagers, and I have one's an Enneagram 8, one's an Enneagram 4. We have a lot of parenting, and maybe an Enneagram 1 who wants to do it right, and ethics, and please don't lie to me. And I know when you're lying to me, and that's I can work through anything. But lying to me is where it's a hard stop. So no experience is wasted. And I was thinking about some of the hard things that I've been through in the last year. What skill, what mindset, what habit did it strengthen in me? And one of the things is when I have conversations with the kids is asking them questions that I know they're not going to lie to me about. They're not going to try to wiggle out of what's done. Showing them that I know what's going on, and that I would like from their perspective to understand it. And that's just been navigating my next steps and turning the setbacks, these things that I'm haven't we figured this out yet, and turn it into setups to deepen our relationship. So I want you to think about that. What's one of the hardest things that you've been through? What's a hard thing you've been through in the past year? And what skill set, what mindset, what habit, what character did it strengthen in you or bring out in you? And how can you apply this moving forward? How can you lean into this a little bit more to increase, to elevate your purpose and your calling? And the last one I want to share today is executing your strengths for greater impact. There's so many times that we have our strengths that we don't realize that they are strengths because they come so naturally to us that we downplay them or we don't embrace them. And so, or we don't lean into them more. We try to overcome some of our weaknesses or some of the harder things in our life. But once you have turned your struggles into strengths, we can use them with purpose. So executing your strengths for greater impact, using the things you've been through to help someone else. There's always someone who is a step below you or a step, on the same step as you are, even a step higher than you, and that we can help, we can connect with. The biggest thing is we have two options when we're going through things. When we are experiencing struggles, we can go two ways. Is we can see it as something that's setting us back. We can see it as something that's happening to us. We can see it as our obstacles that we just, is holding us back and we'll never be able to experience a life that we want or have the impact that we desire. Or we can turn it around and say, okay, how can this be used for good? How is this experience going to be used? Because none is wasted. No experience ever is wasted. And I truly believe that. And I believe that for me. I believe it for you. I believe it for your kids. I believe it even some of the struggles that my son, as he's getting ready to go to college and he's starting to, go through that experience of finding what you want to do with the rest of his life. I think even this experience of making those choices is going to help him later on. And so as we're looking at the things we've been through, which camp do you want to be in? Do you want to be one that is powerless because things are happening to you, that victim mentality that life will never be any better than what you go through? Or do you want to experience and say, okay, where's the lesson? How is this setback turning into a setup? How can I embody my purpose? And how can I use the strengths that I have cultivated through these struggles to help others? Because either way, we're going through the same trials, the same circumstances, the same struggles, the same pain. But we get to decide which way we're going to go. So we get to decide, are they going to refine us or are they going to define us? Because if we define our lives by the struggles, we lose the power. But if we allow the struggles to refine us, then that propels us to who we're called to be. And your hardest moments often lead to your biggest contributions. I know that the hardest moments for me, and honestly, it's the experience of grief after losing my husband that has been the hardest. Raising two kids who are grieving themselves through my own grief has been such a hard moment. But then it led me to go to school to become a therapist, to understand. It led me to understand the Enneagram, to understand the motivations. When I started learning about the Enneagram and understanding why I do what I do, all of a sudden now, the world cracked open and I wasn't stuck in that box anymore. It allowed me to go and look at my, get certified in Clifton strengths, because when we know what we're good at and we lean into those, then the life gets a lot easier. It allowed me to look at God as a partner and as a comforter and as a support and as someone who loves me no matter what I do. It's allowed me to, it's allowed me to get up and see how I can impact even when I don't feel like it. Even when I'm hurting, I know that someone else is hurting too. And I know that God's put a message on my heart, just like I know He's put one on yours. Whatever it may be through health coaching, it may be through widget creating, it may be through chiropractic, it may be through a writing, it may be through, whatever. It may be just as a Walmart bag checker. It doesn't matter the what, it's the who you are and what your purpose is there. And the thing is, you already have these strengths within you. They've already been developing. They've already been enhanced. But now's the time to use it. Now's the time to go for it. Because God doesn't waste anything. What you've been through is preparing you for where you're meant to go. So I want you to lean into it. I want you to trust the process. I know it's such a common cliche, trust the process, but let your struggles shape you into the woman you were born to be. It is not it's not a coincidence, or it's not an oops that you've been through what you're going through. God knew all along, and he was right there with you. So you're already walking through a fire. What if instead of fearing the heat, what if you realized that it was refining you? The next time you hit a wall, remember, you're not being buried, you're being planted. I love the whole visual of a tree and the roots. And even we just started our garden, we planted some tomatoes, and it starts, you put the tiny seed in the ground and you don't see anything. And then, 10 to 15 days later, all of a sudden you start to see something. You start to see a little tiny blade of grass that is weak. And then in a couple of months it grows, and not only is the stalk thicker and stronger, but then it starts having fruit on it. And then you can use it to make whatever. Tomatoes are so versatile, and so are you. So your struggles are shaping you into the leader, the entrepreneur, the impact maker that you're meant to be. Friend, it's time that you start looking at how this is done for you, how your struggles are a gift. And if this does not motivate you to look at it as a gift, reach out to me, let's chat, and let's see how the things you've been through can be a gift to your family, to your community, to others around you. How when you shine your light, others can shine theirs. And are you ready to discover your next purpose? Are you ready to bridge the gap so that you're not only successful, but also significant, that you have that impact that you want? Well, go and take my purpose map quiz. It's a short 7-question quiz that now will help you discover your purpose archetype. So it's TamiMurrayCoaching.com/quiz. I know that sometimes we don't know our next step. Well, this purpose map will help you not only find your next step, but it will start to show you, crack open the possibilities. And so I'm really excited about this quiz, and I can't wait for you to go take it, get your purpose map, and then reach out to me and let's talk about how we can implement it, how we can take those next steps, how we can become who God called you to be. Friend, thank you so much for coming here. I enjoy this so much. I am so grateful that you listen week after week, and that you not only listen, but you reach out to me and let me know that this is important to you, that you don't want the podcast to stop, that you know that your purpose is right there. I can help you find it, clarify it, and then start living it. So reach out to me and let's do this together. All right, well, friend, with that, choose joy until joy chooses you. Go take the purpose map quiz. I guarantee that it will help you discover your next steps, and it will put you on a trajectory that shows that everything is truly a gift. All right, friend, I will talk to you soon. Bye.